All it took was the killing of one individual in 2010 to completely disrupt the balance of power in Mexico's criminal underworld overnight. After Mexican forces killed the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, Ignacio Nacho Cornell, havoc wreaked. Alliances collapsed, territories were exposed, and violence surged. And in this ruckus, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel climbed their way to the top to become the most influential criminal organization in the world. That is why today we are going to be studying the rise, operations, and global impact of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. So what exactly led to the rise of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel? I already briefly mentioned that they got their start following the killing of the Sinaloa cartel leader Nacho, but I would just like to give a little more context and backstory to that. So before his death, Nacho actually worked with Oscar Nava Valencia, also known as El Lobo. He was the leader of the Melonio cartel, and they were responsible for drug shipments and managing the finances for the Sinaloa network in the western regions of Mexico. However, when El Lobo was captured and Nacho was killed, the Melonio cartel completely fractured, and the two factions fought for control, and that was La Resistencia and Los Torcidos. Los Torcidos were led by former police officer Nemesio Asaguera Ramos, actually, and he was known as El Mencho. That faction, led by El Mencho, has grown to what we now know as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG. Their rise was accelerated by fragmentation. As other major criminal organizations were splintering across Mexico, the CJNG exploited this chaos. They absorbed local groups, deployed regional cells, and expanded outward from Jalisco. Within a decade, they were able to establish a presence across almost the entire country. The CJNG is a transnational criminal organization, and they extend far beyond Jalisco or Mexico as a whole. They have connections across Latin America, the United States, Europe, and Asia, particularly in the drug supply chains and precursor chemical sourcing. These transnational operations have heavy consequences for the United States. Their involvement in production in methamphetamines and fentanyl is driving the US overdose crisis. What this cartel does is they import the chemical precursors needed to manufacture these drugs from Asia. Then they manufacture the synthetic drugs in Mexico and then distribute them through various markets, especially the US drug markets. And beyond this synthetic drug trade, they are also engaging in money laundering, human trafficking, fuel theft, extortions, weapon trafficking, and just piracy and overall generation of wealth and revenue. And they continue to reinforce this cross-border criminal economics and crisis that we are seeing in the world. So what sets the Jalisco New Generation Cartel apart from others? What makes them so powerful? It was luck of opportunity backed by violence, business strategy, and media presence. I can't say that they're not smart. They definitely have taken their agricultural knowledge from avocados and other various ventures and applied it to the illicit drug trade. Unlike the Sinaloa cartel, who operates quietly and tries to fly under people's radar, CJNG relies on overt displays of force. Its operatives showcase military-grade weapons, attack security forces, and use intimidation to assert control. Their business model also differs because instead of controlling entire supply chains, the CJNG, they often are just extorting businesses from tequila producers to avocado farmers, and they're charging fees at multiple stages of productions. They're literally just shaking people out for all of their money because they can. In addition to this, they also, oddly enough, use media very strategically. They are like the kings of TikTok and YouTube. Their propaganda videos display weapons, convoys, and messaging designed to project strength and shape public perception. It's crazy to see in real time. Now, I mentioned their media presence and how they like to assert their dominance that way, but someone who is exempt from this is their leader, El Mencho, who we mentioned earlier. He is at the center of it all. He is the founder. He was born in 1966, and I would just butcher the name, so I'm gonna put it on a map right here. But he rose through the drug trade from just street-level trafficking to regional leadership. And unlike other cartel members who are born into powerful families, he came from nobody and honestly just built himself up entirely. He very much deployed discretion and control in his leadership, which I know it doesn't necessarily sound like that with them being on YouTube and TikTok, but he himself does do his best to avoid public attention, and he has very advanced levels of security and only relies on his very trusted inner circle. And despite multiple arrests of close relatives and a $10 million U.S. reward being offered for information leading to his capture, he is just out there living his best life and wreaking havoc on everybody and everywhere around him. But he is remaining unscathed as of now. Okay, please excuse the change of lighting and background and everything, but I am currently editing this assignment on February 22nd, 2026. The day it's due, I know, I'm sorry. But I don't have time to go and refilm it, but I find this very, very important. Today, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, El Mencho, was murdered in Puerto Vallarta. He was finally killed and taken down. I don't have the most details on it, and like I said, I don't really have the most time to go and refilm this entire project, but yes, I just thought it was too crazy of timing to not include this, that as of today, Sunday, February 22nd, El Mencho was taken down, and now Puerto Vallarta is virtually shut down. It is so important to acknowledge the Jalisco New Generation Cartel and their operations, because this is modern cartels. This is what the criminal underworld looks like now. It combines paramilitary force, diversified criminal enterprises, and global logistic networks. It's actually becoming a Fortune 500 company, but illegal. They operate on the same scales, they have the same tactics, and they are willing to go to any lengths. And that is where they differ, and that is why they are so dangerous. Despite numerous financial crackdowns and high-level arrests, the organizations continue and they come back stronger. They are constantly expanding their strategic territories and maintaining control in their key regions. They cannot be stopped. For both Mexico and the United States, the CJNG remains one of the most significant criminal threats. The CJNG is no longer just a cartel. They are a system that shapes security, public health, and crime across the world.